Fame can feel like a blessing from the outside, but for those who receive it too young, it often arrives with a weight few are prepared to carry. For Julie Andrews, recognition did not unfold gently or gradually. It surged into her life with such force that it demanded immediate inner reckoning. While audiences celebrated her extraordinary voice and effortless grace, Julie quietly grappled with the emotional shock of being seen, judged, and admired on a global scale before she'd fully discovered who she was. She later spoke openly about turning to therapy and self-examination, not because success felt wrong, but because it felt overwhelming. The world adored an image while she struggled to protect her inner self. Behind the polished smile lived a thoughtful young woman, learning how to stay grounded when life suddenly moved faster than her heart could follow. A childhood shaped by music. Julie Andrews was born Julia Elizabeth Wells on October 1, 1935, into a household where music was not a hobby but a way of life. Her early years were colored by piano melodies, stage stories, and the quiet discipline of practice. Her mother, a gifted pianist, understood the emotional language of music, while her stepfather, a seasoned performer, recognized Julie's rare vocal ability almost immediately. Their encouragement was paired with structure, shaping a childhood that balanced warmth with responsibility. Music was not treated as play alone, but as something sacred that deserved care and commitment. Long evenings of rehearsal, vocal exercises, and storytelling became part of her routine. Rather than stealing her childhood, music gave it shape. Those early years built not only her voice but also her respect for craft, patience, and perseverance. Discovering a once-in-a-lifetime voice. From an early age, it became clear that Julie possessed something extraordinary. Her vocal range was astonishing, her pitch flawless, and her control remarkably mature for someone so young. Teachers quickly realized they were guiding a voice that appeared once in a generation. Under the careful mentorship of respected vocal instructors, Julie learned that raw talent alone was not enough. Technique, discipline, and humility mattered just as much. Her training was demanding, often requiring focus beyond her years, yet she met it with quiet determination. While other children played, Julie practiced scales and breathing exercises, understanding that her gift came with responsibility. This foundation shaped her relationship with performance, teaching her to honor her voice rather than exploit it. Even then, she sensed that singing was not about applause, but about connection. Stepping onto the stage. Too soon. By the age of 12, Julie Andrews was no longer just a promising student, she was a professional performer. Appearing on major stages in London, she stunned audiences with a voice that seemed impossibly powerful for someone so young. Applause came easily, but maturity had to be learned quickly. Performing for royalty in packed theaters demanded confidence, yet Julie remained grounded, guided by strong mentors and family structure. These early experiences taught her how to stand tall under pressure, how to respect audiences, and how to deliver excellence regardless of circumstance. At the same time, they introduced her to the reality that performance could blur the line between personal identity and public expectation. While she thrived on stage, she learned early that success required emotional balance, something she would continue refining throughout her life. Crossing the Atlantic to Broadway. At 19, Julie Andrews took a leap that would change everything. Broadway welcomed her with open arms, but it also tested her resilience. Her debut performance immediately captured attention, not because of spectacle, but because of sincerity. Audiences felt her authenticity, her clarity, and her natural warmth. When she stepped into the role that would define her early career, She brought discipline shaped by years of training and humility, earned through hard work. Night after night, she delivered performances that felt fresh, even under the strain of expectation. Broadway did not simply showcase her voice, it sharpened her instincts as an actress. It taught her timing, emotional restraint, and how to live truthfully inside a character. This chapter confirmed that Julie was not just gifted, she was prepared. The role that changed everything. Julie's transformation into a beloved leading lady came through a role that demanded both vulnerability and strength. Audiences watched her embody growth, grace, and emotional intelligence, and they believed every moment. Her performance felt honest rather than exaggerated, refined without losing warmth. Songs associated with this era became inseparable from her name, not because she sang them beautifully, but because she told their stories sincerely. Yet behind the curtain, Julie remained focused, understanding that success was fragile. She knew that applause could fade, and she refused to let recognition replace discipline. This awareness kept her grounded as attention intensified. Rather than chasing fame, she continued chasing excellence. That choice would serve her well when her career expanded beyond the stage and into a much larger spotlight. Entering Hollywood's brightest light. When Hollywood came calling, it did so with expectation and scrutiny. Julie Andrews stepped into film with grace, carrying her theatrical discipline into an unfamiliar world. Her screen presence felt natural, never forced, and audiences instantly connected with her sincerity. A role that blended imagination, kindness, and subtle strength became a cultural milestone. Viewers didn't just watch her perform, they trusted her. The film's success transformed Julie into a household name almost overnight. Awards followed, but what mattered most was validation. After being overlooked previously, this moment affirmed that her instincts, patience, and self-belief had been right all along. She accepted recognition with humility, aware that success was not owed, but earned. This period marked the beginning of her global legacy, even as she quietly prepared for the pressure that would follow. A year that redefined cinema. Within a single year, Julie Andrews became the face of two defining films that reshaped popular culture. One celebrated imagination and discipline, the other explored faith, joy, and resilience. Her performance radiated warmth and strength, capturing something timeless that transcended generations. Behind the scenes, the work was physically demanding and emotionally intense. Yet Julie met every challenge with professionalism and humor. She approached each role not as an icon, but as a storyteller serving the material. Audiences sensed that sincerity and responded with lasting devotion. These films didn't just make her famous, they made her trusted. For a moment, it seemed nothing could slow her ascent. Yet, even at the height of success, Julie understood that public adoration was unpredictable, and she remained cautious, grateful, and deeply reflective, choosing growth over comfort. Rather than repeating familiar roles, Julie deliberately sought projects that challenged her. She wanted to grow, not simply preserve an image. By stepping into complex and unconventional stories, she proved her commitment to craft over convenience. Some choices were met with curiosity, others with hesitation, but Julie remained steady. She believed an artist must evolve or risk stagnation. These roles revealed her depth, allowing audiences to see beyond the musical persona they adored. While not every project was universally praised, each expanded her understanding of storytelling. Julie never measured success solely by reception. Instead, she measured it by integrity. This willingness to take risks defined her career, even when outcomes were uncertain. Growth, she believed, mattered more than safety. When success becomes fragile. Even legends face moments when momentum shifts. Julie Andrews experienced this reality when ambitious projects failed to connect as intended. Expectations were high, and disappointment felt heavier because of past triumphs. Criticism, though difficult, forced reflection rather than bitterness. Julie did not retreat in anger or denial. Instead, she examined her choices honestly and accepted that not every story finds its audience. These moments tested her resilience, reminding her that fame offers no guarantees. Yet she refused to let setbacks define her worth. She understood that careers, like lives, move in seasons. What mattered was continuing forward with grace. Through disappointment, she preserved dignity, knowing that her identity extended far beyond box office numbers or critical opinion. Reinventing herself on her own terms. Determined to redefine her relationship with performance, Julie explored new creative formats. Television offered a platform to showcase range, humor, and authenticity. Though critical recognition followed, public reception proved unpredictable. When projects ended sooner than hoped, Julie chose curiosity over discouragement. She stepped into intimate performance spaces, connecting with audiences in a more personal way. Stripped of spectacle, these settings revealed her wit, vulnerability, and storytelling ability. Rather than diminishing her stature, these choices expanded it. She demonstrated that reinvention requires courage, not approval. By embracing honesty over expectation, Julie reclaimed creative freedom. These years reminded her that artistry thrives when it reflects truth rather than image. A career reawakens. Just when many assumed her era had passed, Julie Andrews returned with renewed confidence. New roles revealed her depth, intelligence, and fearless humor. She embraced complexity, stepping into stories that challenged social norms with sensitivity and wit. Audiences responded with admiration, recognizing an artist unafraid of transformation. This resurgence was not about reclaiming fame, but about rediscovering joy. Julie's performances carried maturity, shaped by experience, loss, and growth. Recognition returned, but this time it felt different, quieter, deeper, and more meaningful. She had nothing left to prove. Instead, she offered insight, generosity, and truth. This chapter confirmed that longevity in art comes not from clinging to the past, but from honoring change. Love beyond the spotlight. Behind the public success, Julie's personal life unfolded with its own complexities. Early love brought companionship and creativity, but career demands introduced distance. With time came understanding, acceptance, and mutual respect. Later, she found a partnership rooted in humor, collaboration, and resilience. Together, they built a blended family and shared a creative bond that extended far beyond professional projects. Their relationship was not defined by perfection, but by patience and laughter. Julie often spoke of love as a practice rather than a promise. Through partnership, she learned balance, forgiveness, and endurance. These personal experiences shaped her emotional depth as an artist and a woman, reminding her that fulfillment is built quietly, far from applause. When the voice fell silent. Few losses strike deeper than losing the very instrument that defines one's identity. For Julie Andrews, vocal injury altered her life in ways she never anticipated. What began as concern became a permanent change, forcing her to grieve not just sound, but self-expression. The silence was devastating, yet she faced it with honesty rather than bitterness. Adjusting required patience, humility, and emotional courage. She mourned what was lost while slowly discovering what remained. Speaking itself became deliberate, thoughtful, intentional. Though the pain never fully disappeared, Julie refused to let loss erase purpose. This chapter marked not an ending, but a transformation, one that demanded inner strength beyond any role she had ever played. Learning to create without sound. In the absence of song, Julie Andrews turned to words. Writing became a new voice, allowing her to tell stories with warmth and clarity. Through books, memoirs, and creative collaborations, she continued to connect with audiences in meaningful ways. This transition was not about replacement, but reinvention. She learned that expression does not belong to one medium alone. Creativity adapts when guided by passion. Writing offered reflection, control, and healing. It allowed Julie to honor her experiences without longing for what could not return. In this quieter chapter, she discovered a different rhythm, slower, thoughtful, and deeply fulfilling. Her influence endured not because of volume, but because of sincerity. Wisdom earned through loss. As years passed, Julie embraced reflection with grace. Loss taught her patience, gratitude, and presence. She spoke openly about love, aging, and the beauty of imperfection. Caring for a lifelong partner through illness deepened her compassion and reshaped her understanding of devotion. These experiences softened her perspective, replacing ambition with appreciation. Julie no longer measured life by achievement, but by connection. Her insights resonated because they were lived, not performed. She offered wisdom gently, never preaching, always inviting. Through vulnerability, she became more relatable than ever. This stage of life revealed strength rooted not in applause, but in acceptance. A legacy that grows quietly. Julie Andrews' legacy is not confined to iconic films or unforgettable songs. It lives in the way she navigated change with dignity. Her story teaches that talent opens doors, but character determines longevity. Generations continue to discover her work, not as nostalgia, but as timeless storytelling. She represents professionalism without coldness, elegance without distance. By honoring growth, she remained relevant without chasing relevance. Her influence extends beyond performance, offering a blueprint for resilience and grace. Julie's life reminds us that reinvention is not failure, it is evolution. True legacy is built not through perfection, but through perseverance. A life marked by courage. Looking back, Julie Andrews' journey reflects courage in many forms. The courage to step forward, to step back, and to begin again. She faced fame, loss, reinvention, and aging with humility. Rather than resisting change, she listened to it. Her story resonates because it is human, layered, and honest. Each chapter, whether triumphant or painful, contributed to a fuller understanding of self. Julie never claimed to have all the answers, only a willingness to keep learning. That openness remains her greatest strength. Through courage and kindness, she shaped a life that continues to inspire without demanding attention. The enduring spirit. Even without the voice that once defined her, Julie Andrews continues to speak through example. Her spirit remains vibrant, thoughtful, and generous. She stands as proof that identity is not tied to one gift, but to how we respond when that gift changes. Her journey encourages resilience without bitterness, ambition without ego, and creativity without fear. Julie's story is not about what was lost, but about what endured. And in that endurance lies her true magic, quiet, steady, and profoundly human.